Hello everybody, it's Claire. Today we are going to be working in this beautiful book by Kirby Rose Aints. It's called Mythomorphia, and a few of you will have seen this wonderful gnome page that I posted on my Pinterest gallery and on Instagram and Facebook. And a lot of you have asked me how I got the background so smooth, so the blended background. So that's what we're going to be able to do today. We're going to, I'm going to show you how I created that very, very smooth blending for that background. So this is actually the right hand side of a double page. So we're going to be working on this side. So I just need to move the book over so that you can see. Now what I've got is I've got my 6 Prismacolor pencils that I'm going to use to replicate this lovely background. So I have, going from dark to light, I have my black. As I say, these Prismacolor pencils, PC935. I have dioxazine purple hue, which is PC132. I have violet, which is PC932 rather. Sorry. I have parma violet, PC1008. I have lilac, which is PC956, and I have in my compass, I have my grey lavender, which is PC1026. Okay, so we're going to start with the lightest one first, and I'm going to tell you why it's in the compass. So let me just move those other 5 pencils out of the way. Now then, this background is based on an implied light source. So you can see it goes light to dark in this direction. Now, what I wanted to create was the effect that it was nighttime, but that there was a moon. So somewhere kind of off page up here, there's a moon, and it's creating this moonshine without actually drawing the moon in the picture. So it's an implied light source. And the best way to do that, because light, when you create light onto the page, it's better to do it in circular bands, which is why I've got my compass. So let me tell you my logic. So I've got 6 pencils, okay? So if I want this blended background to be pretty even across those 6 colours, I need to divide the background into those 6 parts. So what I've done, you won't be able to see, but what I've done is I've got very, very light pencil marks. So this page is 25 centimetres across. So what I've done is just very, very gently mark out divide the page into 6, so it's just over 4 centimetres each for these bands of 6 colours. And then what we do is we take the compass. Okay, now I'm going to put it in this very top corner. So again, I'm going to be recreating this, but think about it backwards. I'm going to be putting the lightest one here because the moon is here, and then working this way. Okay, so I'm going to put my compass right in the very corner, and then I've got a little line here which indicates the first 1/6 of that page. Okay. So then I'm just going to, and very gently, because we're going to be blending over this and you don't want a really hard line on this page. So just gently, just to give you a little indicator, okay? Like that. Now then, you may not be able to see that. So I think what I'm going to do is, let me just take my pencil out of my compass for the moment. Let me see if it helps if I zoom in. And just move the book slightly. Okay, I might give you a little bit of a better idea. Now, if you've watched any of my tutorials on basic blending, you'll know how I blend with Prismacolor pencils. So because they're wax, because they're vibrant, I don't layer up with them. What I do is just make blend lines across where you want the colours to mingle. However, we want this to be really, really, really professionally smooth, almost to the point where I did actually have someone say, is that a digital image? Because it's so smooth. And it's a variation on the basic blending, which I'm going to show you today. So what I'm going to do is maybe about 1 centimetre inside this arc, this quadrant of a circle, just gently by hand. I'm just going to mark out another little inner circle, like that. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is gently, very, very little pressure, mark myself out on that inside quadrant. Just give myself a little blend line. Can you see that on there? Yes, I think you can. I think you can see that. I might drag it down a little bit for you. Okay. Now, just a point as well, if you're worried about spreading colour from this side, what I usually do is just put a little bit of kitchen paper over it, just to protect it. Some of my arm's not spreading the colour on this side, but just for the purposes of the video, I'll just keep that off so that you can see the image better. Okay, so behind this line, I'm going to do another little quadrant, and I'm going to try to keep my hand out of the way of the camera, but this time slightly firmer. Not much firmer, but slightly firmer. Okay. So you can see we've got two bands. We've got an outside band here in a really light touch, and this is slightly firmer. You can probably see that on the page because you can see that there's more pigment on this bit. Okay, and again, inside, now I'm getting quite firm with the pressure. I'm not pressing on massively hard, but I'm getting firmer with the pressure. Okay. And then the next bit is this very inside bit. I can press on hard and lay down that full pigment. So pressing on as hard as I can there. Like that. And then we'll just finish off colouring in this tiny bit here. Okay, so remember I've got my greyed lavender in my hand, which is the lightest shade of the 6. Like that. Okay, so you can see I've got my bands of various strengthening touches on the page. Okay, now I'm going to go back to this very outer band that we drew in the first place, and I am hardly going to touch. And this is why I don't want you to press on hard when you make the compass line. It's just an indicator of where you're going to put the colour. And if you want to do it by eye, by all means do it by eye, but I just find that certainly when we get over here, the compass isn't large enough, so we'll be doing it by eye. But just to start you off, to get that perfect quadrant, that perfect quarter of a circle, I always think it's a good idea to use a compass. And I've seen Joanna as well, Joanna Basford. I've seen her when she does her flower wreaths in her books. She always uses a compass so that the flowers are completely symmetrical. So it's a good idea. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second deepest colour, which is lilac. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the compass. And just putting it inside that. Oh, hang on. Be helpful if that was on that side, wouldn't it? I think I need a new one. I'm just putting that in the compass. And then my second line, which is here. Again, I'm going to put the compass in the centre of the, in the corner of the page. I'm just going to take my pencil to that line there and gently, gently, gently mark that quadrant, but don't go over where it goes behind the design. So don't draw the line over the gnomes, just draw it behind, okay? And that's where we're going to place our second colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my lilac. So I've got my slightly darker colour, and I'm just going to, in a light hand, go over this section of the greyed lavender. Okay, now I know it looks rough and ready at this point, but this variation in pressure across two colours in several bands is the way that I get a seamless blending effect with these particular pencils. Okay, so slightly behind that. Again, same thing, slightly firmer pressure. Okay. And don't worry about it being perfect at this point, because it'll all get blended out. Now then, what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to go back to my greyed lavender, and just in a medium firm pressure, start to go over that inside line of lilac. Okay. And I'll fill in this little bit as well, medium firm, because I'm going to go over this bit very slightly with the lilac for that perfect blend. Okay, now you can still probably see the band of colour there, so we're going to get rid of that. But because we've done light bands underneath, it's going to make us a lot easier. So I'm going back to my lilac and just gently over the top of what we've just done with the grey lavender. Just gently. And take it up into that grey lavender, but just lightly, lightly with your touch. And what I'll do is I'm going to go backwards and forwards between these two colours until I'm completely happy with these layers that you really can't tell where one starts and one stops. Medium firm pressure, because you're building up layers. You're not layering in the true sense of the word, you're just making a seamless join. And then what we'll do is, I think we'll go back to, because we'll come back to this as well in a little bit, but I think we'll start to lay down some of the lilac in that bigger quadrant. Okay, so already you can see it's a lot more smooth in terms of the colour change. Just going back to the lilac slightly, just gently. Gently. And because we put those layers in underneath, it pays dividends. Because you haven't got one harsh line of one colour and then the next harsh line of the other colour. It's all about bands and grades of how much pressure you put on the page. And it's practice. Honestly, it's practice. And don't be afraid to go back and go back and go back and go back until you feel like you're there. Just gently with these layers. Right, so we'll come back to get that in a little bit, as I say. So what I'm going to do is, so I've got my lilac gently on this band where we've marked it out, just gently. I'm going to put myself a very light blend line where that pigment will go to. Okay. So again, as we did before, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my book slightly, because I'm going to, can you still see that if I move that to there? Yes, you can. Just because I'm going to be careful as I'm going around this design. So, slightly firmer pressure, medium pressure. And just take a little bit of care around the note, because this isn't a practice page. I will be finishing this page, so I'm going to take a little bit of care. Okay, medium pressure. Leaving that light touch line outside. And I'm just being careful of this seam so that the pencil doesn't damage any of the ties that's keeping the pages together. Okay, now I'm going to go back to this inside bit. Medium firm over that outside blend line, because we'll go back, remember, and put some more grey lavender over this. Okay, now I'm going to keep moving my book a little bit because my wrist needs to be in a comfortable position. And if your wrist's in a comfortable position, it's easier to control the pressure that you're putting on the page. If you're kind of cack-handed, you make it difficult for yourself. But don't be afraid to keep moving your book around. Okay. Slightly firmer pressure. And try and keep your pencil strokes kind of in the same direction, if you know what I mean. So don't do that in some places and do that in other places, because you really will see, even when it's blended perfectly together, you will see the pencil strokes. So kind of keep them going in the same direction. So this is medium firm. You can see how quick it is. And then we're going to go back to the grade lavender. Again, just medium firm. Put too much pressure on, you won't be able to layer it up. And some of my pencils are getting really small, you can see. Got a lot of shorties. Well loved. And there's a little secret as well. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Now my eyesight's good. So I'm in my mid-40s and I don't wear glasses, I don't have contact lenses. So my eyesight is good. And by eye, I can tell when things are pretty well blended. But here's a little trick. And I can't show you it because my phone is in the holster. But what I do is, I look through my camera lens on my phone because it's clearly got more clarity on it and more focus than a human eye has. And I guarantee you, if you look through it, and even if you think it's smooth on the page, the phone camera will show you areas where it's not, or where it could be better. And I keep looking through my phone, even when I think I've got it pretty well sussed. I keep looking through my phone, and the camera on my phone shows me just areas where I can get it even more seamless. Just a little trick, and it works really well. So I'm back to my grade lavender. I'm just gently, 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 medium firm. And can you see how nice and smooth that's getting? You see how nice and smooth that's looking? And it's not something you can rush. If you're just blending kind of within a design or kind of across the mushroom, you can go a lot faster, but this is a background, so you're covering a lot of space. There's a lot of space to be smoothed out, so don't rush it. Just keep going back and keep going back to the two colours until it's absolutely seamless. So the two tricks are to do the bands of the various pressured pencil, and then to keep checking through the lens of your phone to just get those very, very final areas completely and utterly smooth. And as I say, these are Prisma pencils, so they blend really well on their own. I should make the point that I very, very, very rarely, if ever, use a blender pencil. So you can see I've done this just with my pencils. There's no blending fluid. There's no blender pencil. All we're doing is using the pressure on the page to gradually build up that change in colour. And I think what we'll do is we'll just quickly finish off the lilac and end the tutorial there, because my other four colours are exactly the same technique. Okay, put a tiny bit of, very, very gently with this darker colour, very gently over this bit. And like I say, somebody on Instagram did ask me if this image that I'd posted on this side was digital, which is kind of a compliment really, because you're getting it that perfect. And somebody also did make the comment on Facebook, actually, I think it was on one of the Mythomorphia pages that I belong to. Somebody actually said that to blend that well was illegal, which did make me giggle. Okay, can you see that? I just moved that up for you. Can you see how smooth that is? And you can see the shine. If I move that back, can you see the shine on the page is because the pencil's a wax pencil, so it's picking up the shine of the wax, which is quite nice. But can you see how seamless that is? So what I'll do is, just for kind of finishing off sake, so now we can go back to firm pressure. Are you still in shot? Yeah. Back to firm pressure, and we can just do this middle band without too much worry. In actual fact, I probably won't, because I don't want to rush going around this hat. So we'll just quickly finish off this bit. This is firm pressure now, because we're not going to be blending over this bit. Like I say, try to keep your pencil strokes in the same direction. Don't be frightened to move your book. And this is the technique that I used. So I've got a few other tutorials, earlier tutorials. So there's a castle sunset, same principle, maybe a little bit more detailed on this one, because that one's not quite as big of a space in the background to fill. You may have also seen my Joanna Basford's Elves Party Pink Sunset, which is a double page, and the pink sunset spreads out from the middle. Same principle, same technique. I'm kind of giving myself away here as a bit of a one-trick pony, aren't I? But I think once you get the skill, you can apply it to anything. Just gently, with the greyed lavender. Gently, gently, gently. Keeping those pencil strokes in the same direction. Okay, and I'll probably leave it there for the tutorial. And hopefully that showed you how I got this so smooth. Just by eye. And how to create the circular effect. Just with your compass, dead easy. Nothing difficult. Just be patient. Be patient and build it up and build it up. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there. But what I will go on to do is, if I just move it to this side. So I've got my Parma violet. So the Parma violet would kind of go here. It's going to roll off. Then I've got my violet, which would be this section. See if I can hold them still. Then I've got my dioxazine purple hue, which is this section, and then finally the black. So you can see that I would do that across the page, and it makes that beautiful double. It's that beautiful double spread with the implied moonlight. Okay, that's it for today. As usual, any questions, give me a ring. I will put the pencils in the description, and I hope you give it a go. Bye for now.